All right, the Elimination Chamber. I thought this was a good show. I really enjoyed both chamber matches, but at the same time, a lot of filler on the show. Probably the weakest supporting cast to an elimination chamber pay-per-view thus far, since the pay-per-view has come about. I can't really say I recommend rewatching or buying the replay. It's not really necessary in my opinion, but it was still a good show. Both elimination chamber matches delivered to get you hyped up for WrestleMania. That's all I really needed to do. I don't really think the pay-per-view before WrestleMania needs to be amazing. You don't want to take away from the prestige of WrestleMania, which is what No Way Out 2009 did, in my opinion, 3 years ago. I thought that was actually a better pay-per-view than WrestleMania 25. But let's not waste any time. Let's get right down to the first Elimination Chamber match, which I thought was really, really good, but at the same time, it didn't live up to its potential because of the Chris Jericho booking situation, which I'm happy that they did. It definitely makes sense for the long term. It definitely hurt the quality of the match, though. Obviously, you want Jericho and Punk to go at it. It could have been a really, really good match, but I was okay with it because I want them to save what they're going to do for WrestleMania, which is the right thing to do. But yeah, CM Punk defended the WWE title to start off the show. I was kind of surprised this opened up the show, but I think it was a good decision because of the booking. So Jericho, Kofi Kingston, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, The Miz in the Elimination Chamber match. And yeah, man, so we start off with Punk and Kofi. Kofi looked really good out there. A lot of high-flying maneuvers, fast-paced action from those two guys. Dolph Ziggler came into the match. Now, Ziggler was his performance was kind of weird. He took a lot of questionable and vicious bumps onto the Elimination Chamber great floor. It was kind of a little bit overkill. I thought he kind of did a little bit too much overselling. It kind of was a little bit too much, in my opinion, but at the same time, I'll give Ziggler credit for being a team player and putting his body on the line. You could definitely tell the guy wants to, step up and main event WrestleMania one day. It's just, he's just a tremendous athlete, and I just think he needs to just keep working because he's one big moment away from getting to that next level. So I thought he looked good tonight, but the story of this match is CM Punk. I thought CM Punk looked amazing here. Punk has gotten a lot of credit because of his mic skills and promo ability, but let's give the guy credit in the ring. In my opinion, he wasn't a great wrestler when he was in Ring of Honor. He was kind of sloppy. He was hit or miss, but he was still good. But now I just think he's become an amazing wrestler. I just think he's really stepped up his game, and he looked better than I've ever seen him tonight. So CM Punk actually successfully won the Elimination Chamber. He will be going to WrestleMania. Like I said, the stuff with Jericho. Jericho came into the match. I think he eliminated Kofi Kingston with the walls of Jericho. We dug his knee into Kofi's neck to make him tap out, and he actually eliminated Dolph Ziggler with the code breaker. So yeah, I mean, you really had a lot of good action here. I think you had Kofi. He actually did the Rob Van Dam Spider-Man crossbody. He did that. He did that to Ziggler and then turned it into a DDT on the steel floor. That looked pretty sweet. Some really, really good stuff between the Punk and the Miz to end the match. But before we got to that, actually, I need to talk about this. Kofi Kingston, after he got eliminated by Jericho snapped. I really felt forced. It really felt unnecessary, the beat down on Kofi Kingston, but I get why they did it. It definitely made sense. You want to have Jericho. They didn't want Jericho to get cheered, so I guess that's why they did it. So Jericho throws Kofi Kingston out of the chamber like he's wiping up the trash or whatever, and then Punk kicks Jericho right in the head. Then Jericho goes down, goes flying into the cameraman. I guess Jericho's kind of playing possum the whole time, and he didn't finish the match. So Jericho got taken to the back, which Jericho obviously now is going to demand a title shot. So pretty good booking in my opinion. Obviously you don't want to have Jericho. I thought that would have been dumb as hell to have Jericho win the belt and then drop it back at WrestleMania. Definitely like they did in 2010. I'm glad they didn't do that. That would have been idiotic. Also, I'm glad that Punk didn't pin Jericho to win the match. That wouldn't have made sense either. So, obviously it was kind of an unsatisfying moment to have Jericho taken out of the match, but I was okay with it. I would have liked to see them come up with something more creative, but at the same time, I can't really think of anything that would have been more creative than what they did. So I was okay with it, but yeah, great stuff in the match between Punk and The Miz. The Miz botched a couple things, which got poor reactions. Um, but I thought it looked pretty good here for the most part, and pretty good chemistry between Punk and The Miz, featuring a pretty awesome counter. Punk was actually going for the springboard lariat, and then every time I see that, I expect the RKO to come out of nowhere, but Punk actually, The Miz actually countered that into the skull crushing finale, which came off really, really good. Awesome near fall. Good exchanges between the Punk and The Miz, and then Punk actually won the match to go to sleep. So congratulations to CM Punk. He's going to WrestleMania. I think this Punk and Jericho feud could be definitely one of the best feuds since Austin and The Rock. I really think it has. There's just a little bit of things that I'm worried about. I really don't know how it's going to be a non-kayfabe type of feud, because both guys really respect each other. So I don't really know if there's going to be a lot of hatred involved. So I'm a little bit skeptical about that. And at the same time, you never really seen Jericho break kayfabe in a lot of his promos, which is, I think, is something he's going to have to do here. He really hasn't done it, other than maybe his feud with The Rock and maybe his feud with Goldberg. That's the only other time I really saw Jericho shoot from the heart. He's such a great performer within kayfabe. He hasn't really needed to do it. But I think the feud with Punk, I really think they need to go hard here. It's just kind of tough to say what they can really feud over. Because I think they really do respect each other so much. Jericho wanted to work with Punk. He said that for ever since the promo, and I know Punk definitely respects Jericho. They're two of the best workers in the world. So it's be interesting to see how they did it. Shawn and Jericho respected each other, but they still managed to have an epic feud. So hopefully they could do the same thing. So yeah, definitely happy with Punk and Jericho. It's pretty much confirmed for WrestleMania. We all got our wishes came true. Nothing really to complain about. So we had a segment featuring John Laurinaitis, Johnny Ace. He actually came out and was interrupted by the returning Alberto Del Rio, the returning Mark Henry, and the returning Christian Cage. I really enjoyed this segment. I had a lot of fun with it. If you thought the segment was pointless, if you thought it was boring or it didn't belong in a pay-per-view, hey, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I enjoyed it. Seeing Christian was definitely a mark-out moment. During the whole night, they did Santino Marella backstage segments, which went pretty well. He was imitating Rocky, and they also showed John Cena at his School of Hard Knocks gym. They showed Tyler Black, putting over Cena, putting over the WWE, and I thought it was a pretty well done package as well. So I like that. Now let me move on to the other Elimination Chamber match. This was not the main event. I thought it probably should have been the main event. There was no reason why this should have not a main event of the show. But it was okay. I was okay with it. I thought it worked out fine. So we had Daniel Bryan. He successfully retained the belt. Really excited. Now, I actually stated that I was excited for this pay-per-view because this is the first time we're seeing Daniel Bryan in a main event caliber match. The Royal Rumble doesn't count because Mark Henry was injured. The match was rushed. That doesn't count. But this is the first time Daniel Bryan was in a main event caliber match in the WWE. So I knew it would deliver. It did deliver. A lot of it had to do with the booking. Now, in my opinion, you don't need to have 5 or 6 great participants to have a great Elimination Chamber match. I think what you need is, one great wrestler, a couple of decent wrestlers, and just great booking, great storytelling, great everything else. You don't have to have 6 guys that are amazing, because you guys are going to be eliminated. You have to have guys to step up and play supporting roles. So you don't need 6 great workers. So I was kind of disappointed that a lot of people were crapping on this match before it even started. I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was creative booking. The match really progressed and got amazing, in my opinion. It just really good stuff with the Big Show actually going in Bryan Danielson's pod and ripped apart the steel chains with his bare hands, and actually was in the pod before Daniel Bryan was actually allowed out of the pod. I thought it was creative booking, and it really, got the crowd into the match. Now, don't get me wrong, this match definitely had a lot of dull moments. Some boring control segments start off the match between Wade Barrett and the Big Show. The crowd was chanting boring. I thought the Great Khali looked like a joke, but at the same time, Big Show looked great in this match. Cody Rhodes looked good. Barrett looked awesome. This match is proof that Barrett has gotten a shitload of a lot better since the whole NXT thing back in the summer of 2010 when people crapped on him. He's definitely a lot better now. He looked like a beast here. I really thought he might have. I was really afraid that he was going to win this match. Now, obviously, I was pulling for Daniel Bryan, and I thought he performed beautifully here. I thought the stuff with the Big Show was gold. I also thought him and Barrett worked very well together. And, you know, to end the match, it came down to Santino and Daniel Bryan. The crowd was really into it. You got a lot of near falls. You got, you know, a great underdog story. The crowd really bought into, you know, so Santino possibly upsetting Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, I really felt like he did a great job of playing that vicious, you know, type of heel that would do anything to put the guy away. And, just a great ending. He actually made Santino tap out with the LeBell lock. Just really, really good stuff between Santino and Daniel Bryan. Loved it. I loved everything. I'll give this match 4 stars. I definitely thought it overachieved. And let me say this. You know, there's people on here have been saying that, you know, the only reason I was somebody called me a typical ROH bot because I said that the show was going to deliver because of Daniel Bryan. Let me say this. It has nothing to do with Ring of Honor. And, you know, if you could even ask CM Punk, he would even tell you that Bryan Danielson turned his back on Ring of Honor. So, you know, I don't understand why, you know, oh God, what am I even going into this? I'm just saying that Daniel Bryan's career, he should not be just, you know, associated with Ring of Honor. This guy's wrestled all over the world, and not just the Ring of Honor. Even before he got to the WWE, it's just one phase of it. And obviously, most of Daniel Bryan's great matches and great work has taken place in Ring of Honor. But that's not only. Obviously that's not the only place that he's associated with. And back in 2004. CM Punk will even tell you that Daniel Bryan turned down Ring of Honor dates to wrestle in New Japan. Or was it All Japan? I'm not even sure. So when Ring of Honor was going through their crisis, you know, CM Punk was the guy that busted his ass and saved the company. You know, Daniel Bryan took Ring of Honor to the next level, but it wouldn't have been, but it's because of CM Punk and Samoa Joe and guys like that. But you know, I just hate the fact that every time I say, oh, you know, it's Daniel, I'm excited to see Daniel Bryan wrestle, people want to jump and say that I'm an ROH bot. I think that's total horseshit. I think some of you guys on here, some of you newer guys, need to do your research before you start bashing people because of what they say. And definitely the match did deliver, and Daniel Bryan had a great showing, so congratulations to him. Daniel Bryan and Sheamus. I think there's going to be a great match at WrestleMania, and Randy Orton getting involved. I'm not crazy about it, but at the same time, Randy Orton has had a great year, in my opinion. I think he's had some really good matches, some really good performances. I think he's worked extremely hard. So we'll see. We'll see Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, and Randy Orton in a triple threat match. I think it's pretty much confirmed. Obviously, you don't want to have. If they're going to do that, you wouldn't have wanted to have Orton in this match. So good decision by WWE. I think it was all right. The concussion thing, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how they pull this off. But I'm definitely kind of sick of Randy Orton. I definitely hope that he doesn't walk out of this as the champion. I think Sheamus needs to win this match at WrestleMania, to tell you the truth. And you know, the thing I'm skeptical about is sometimes these triple threat matches at WrestleMania, they don't get enough time. I just hope it doesn't feel rushed and forced like the WrestleMania 22 one or even the WrestleMania 24 one. So we'll see what happens. And like I said, you know, John Cena and Kane, it was the definition of filler. You know, in 2012, I don't think anyone really wants to see Kane main event a pay-per-view. But at the same time, it's like, what are you going to do with John Cena? You know, obviously anything Cena did at this point was going to be looked upon as filler. So I'm not going to say it was good filler. It was mediocre filler. But and if you thought the match was somewhat entertaining, and good for you. But I don't know. I thought this was just kind of there. You know, I really didn't care if it was good or not. So I'll give it about 2.5 stars. But like I said, the both Elimination Chamber matches, I thought they were really good. I thought they did deliver. And like I said, you know, just because I love Daniel Bryan doesn't mean that, you know, I'm an ROH bot. I definitely, you know, don't agree with that. And I was very, very happy with the both Elimination Chamber matches. That's pretty much it. It's going a little bit too long, but I apologize if this video kind of dragged. I'm just really sick right now. I'm kind of getting over a cold. But yeah, great stuff going on with Jeremy Lin and the New York Knicks. Really want to talk about that, but you know, I'll save that for another video. I also want to do a video about racial stereotypes. within not just the NBA but basketball in general, as I've been part of a lot of them, and my friends have as well. I've had Asian friends. My best friend growing up was Asian, so I definitely do have a lot to offer with that situation. So take it easy, guys.